We are looking at Meg's Backstroke Underwater, commentary by Coach Chris. As we talked about with the above water, we're going to watch this. There's only a few things that really stand out. The biggest thing that positive stands out is that head and body position. Really nice head position, really nice body position. There's a lot of little things she's working on and learning and developing. You can kind of see the techniques starting to sink in, but she's got a lot of great fundamentals. Really, it's a size and power thing. I'm just not seeing a lot of power from her size, and she's got small hands. She's diminutive. As she gets bigger and stronger, as she matures, she's going to have these solid techniques that she has are going to benefit her more. Let's frame forward. Again, I want to talk about this body position real quick because it's clear here. I mean, this is as perfect as it gets for getting the head back. You can see the C, the S, and pretty much the P. Her head is back. She's not keeping her chin too pressed. She's got her nice long body, that head back, chest up, the hips are up. I mean, that's a really nice line to be cutting through the water. So that's something that you need to be good at backstroke. She needs to have that body position. So she's got the first fundamental building block. Now here we're going to talk about her pull, because there is one thing that I'm noticing about the pull. Okay, hand comes in. Look at it. She's anchoring and pulling, and her hand's still out of the water. Okay, this is typical of kids. A lot of kids think that the recovery is above water and the pull is underwater. It's a very basic understanding of what you're doing. That's not true. The recovery, the part that goes over the water, there's a rise to it. There's a fall to it. And the fall doesn't end at the surface of the water. The fall ends until we get to the place we want to pull the water. So for backstroke, it should look like that. There's a rise, there's a fall, the hand goes into the water, keeps falling down to the spot we want to anchor. And that's the spot that we go to before we pull. And we'd mark that with an X. That X right there. So you can see she's already pulling the water and her hand has just hit the surface. She just has to be more patient. Let the hand get deeper. We'll frame forward and you can see, because she pulls so early, her hand isn't really getting to pull water till here. So we're here now. Her hand's right about here, which means she has not pulled herself forward at all with that arm for this entire top part of the pull. Okay, so what she wants to do is let the hand get deeper, anchor it, so that this entire front half we're pulling ourselves forward, not just the bottom half. Once she gets to the bottom half, she's doing great. I mean, she got a good bend in the elbow. She's pushing that hand back. You can see the bubbles. Watch the bubbles. The bubbles are going this way. And when the bubbles are going that way, we're going this way. So the back half of the pull is spot on what we want. It's the front half of the pull that we're being too shallow with. We're rushing that hand. So let that recovery get into the water. Let the hand get down to the depth it needs to be. Roll the shoulder down. Roll onto your side. Reach towards that spot. Here this left hand's coming in. You can see it. I'm going to mark where the hand needs to go before she even starts pulling herself forward. There it is. That's where she needs to go. Watch where she goes. Hands in, already starting to pull. Now the camera lifted, so this spot moved. But you can see she stays shallow with that hand. And it's not till her shoulder that her hand gets to the depth we want. We want it to get to that depth at the front of the stroke. It should be this depth here out in front so that she's pulling in a straight line back towards her hips. Just like that. She's pulling along that line. If you watch hers, her hand starts here pulling, so her actual first movement isn't to go back towards her feet, it's to go this way. And from here, that's when she actually starts pulling back. And remember, what the direction her hand's pulling is where she's pushing herself, so the opposite direction. So if her hand's going, swooping downwards or scooping downwards as she pulls, she's pushing herself up, not necessarily forward. So we're losing power on the front half of this stroke. Nice, look at the hip rotation. That's really solid. Hip up, this hip's going to roll all the way down, all the way through, boom. I mean, really, really nice hip rotation. A lot of solid fundamentals here underwater. Here's a turn. Solid. Feet are a little low for me. I tend to like the feet up here. I like up high on the wall. I like a 90-degree bend in the knees. That's a lot more power. Right now she's kind of closed up like this, and that's not going to be as much, allow her to generate as much power on that turn. So the feet need to land somewhere towards this strip here. Somewhere in there is where you want your feet to land. She drives off. Now, dolphin kicks are good, but she's kicking down. And that's one of the rules that we try to talk about with these dolphin kicks. Never kick away from the breakout. Kick towards the breakout. This part is the glide. The way down, the path down. So when she pushes off, she's rushing. She needs to lock it in and glide. She kicks as soon as her feet come off the wall. This should just be glide, glide, glide. Now we start kicking on the way up. Okay, and the problem is, you're going to watch, she's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1, 2, 2 up. And if you look at the angle she's scooping up to get to the surface now. She's not going forward at all, she's going up. And why is that? Well, the math is wrong. 4 down, and then she's got 2 kicks up. How is she going to get to the surface that way? She spends more time. Each kick pushes her further away from the surface or towards the surface. So her path is going to look like this. Kick, 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 kick. And then this path is going to be kick, kick, and then just glide up. That's what she's doing. I mean, that's a path we just saw. We can play it again. She pushes off, kick, 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 and then kick, kick. And you see that big scoop at the end? That's because she's trying to get to the surface and fewer kicks than she actually is taking on the way down. So here's a rule of thumb. Generally, you just want to glide down, kick up. But if you're going to go a long distance underwater, no more than two kicks on the way down. No matter how many kicks you take down, you always have to take more kicks on the way up. So if you take 2 kicks down, you're going to take 6 kicks up or 8 kicks up to get to the surface appropriately. And that's if you want to have this nice breakout. This is the normal path that we'll see on a streamline or on a pull-out or on a kick-out. What she's doing is kick, 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 scoop up. That's Meg's path right here. So in order to do and adjust that path, we got to do less kicks down, more kicks up. And for the number of kicks she's taking, if you're taking less than 5 or 6 kicks total, you should not have any kicks down, because even 1 kick down will push you too deep to get up to the surface. So just something to think about. That's kind of the equation for getting an effective kick out. More kicks need to happen on the way up towards the breakout, and you need to take no more than 2 kicks down. If you take 2 kicks down, you're 6 to 8 kicks to get back up. If you don't take any kicks down, then you're probably about 6 kicks on the way up to get to the surface. So just a way to think about it. Start thinking about that underwater path. Again, nice hip rotation, decent shoulder drive. I'd like that shoulder to get deeper, that body to get more on her side. But part of that is just trying to roll to the side and give the hand more time. The reason she's staying a little flatter with the shoulders is because as soon as her hand hits, in her mind, in her vision of the technique, it means the recovery is over, pull. It's not. Recovery goes through the surface. Recovery goes through the surface into the water to the proper depth. And so she's got to let that hand travel about 4 to 6 inches deeper before she anchors and pulls. And once she gets to that proper depth, that proper spot, she can start pulling and pull the same direction just like she does on the back half of her pull. Pull right back towards her feet. If she can just get that, she'll have a lot more power in that pull, and she will really take off with that backstroke.